Well, I'm gonna go. Okay, Kelly Glyptis. I hope I got that right. I normally ask you before we got that. Did I get that right?
Yeah, Glyptis, yeah.
Thank God. Thank God. My name's Uriah Kiser. For those who don't know me, I'm Uriah Kiser. I'm the publisher of Potomac Local News, and I've been called many a funny name with the name Uriah, so I don't like to get people's names wrong. Kelly Glyptis joins us on the podcast today. She is going to be performing in The Sound of Music. That is the next wonderful show that is about to grace the stage at the Riverside Center for the Performing Arts. Kelly, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
I'm excited because there's a couple great things about you coming home to perform for us here at Riverside. You are, first and foremost, you are a local from you're from Prince William County, and you grew up in Prince William County. I grew up in Prince William County, so you and I are both local, so that's always fun. But you have been all over the world when it comes to singing and performing, and I love on your website you have two different resumes. You have a theater resume and you have an opera resume, and that is what makes you perfect to perform in this role for Sound of Music. So tell us about the show. Tell us why we should get excited to come and see you on stage.
Well, thank you, Uriah. It's been wonderful so far being home. I've like you said, I'm from Prince William County. I'm from Manassas. I was born and raised here, so it's really special to come back home and get to perform one of my favorite roles and favorite shows. I had the absolute pleasure of performing on the national tour back in 2018, and I got to cover the role. And so this is really special to be coming back to Virginia and doing it here where people can see me from home because yes, I have. I've been traveling a lot. I live in London, England now. So I just recently, about a year ago, I finished 2 years in the West End doing Carlotta in Phantom of the Opera, and then I don't know if it was stupidly or maybe just crazily immediately did an opera right after. Right after I finished Phantom. And when I say right after, I mean I closed on a Saturday, and on Sunday I took a train and started rehearsals for Un ballo in Maschera.
Wow, you must like to be, you have a great work ethic. You must like to be working all the time. Good for you.
I do, yeah. And I had the pleasure to then in this past November, I went to Lithuania and I performed with the Lithuania National Opera. So that was really special. And I came back to Opera Idaho this past April, and which was really special because my grandmother lives out there. She's 96, so she got to hear me sing in person, which was really special. But yeah, being back in Virginia has been amazing. I absolutely love it here. It's such a beautiful place to be with beautiful people and the sound of music. This production is going to be wonderful, incredible. It will be fresh. It will be, I think, a sound of music like people haven't really seen before. We're really, really, really focused on making this production real and making it visceral and making it that everybody can connect with it in some way, which I think is really special for a production that's been running for so long all over the world. So I think that's what will be different and new for people to see in this area. So I hope that everybody can come out and see it. We've got a fantastic cast. The crew is amazing. The artistic staff, everybody. It's just been such an incredible experience. And I've only been here about a week, so it's only going to go up from here.
So, as I alluded to earlier before we started, I have it's a privilege to be able to interview the actors who come on the Riverside stage prior to their show, just as it's starting, and we've seen some great shows at Riverside, from Heartbreak Hotel earlier this year to Next to Normal, which is just wrapping up their run, and it's always fun to talk to them, but never before have I gotten so many phone calls saying, "Hey, Kelly's coming. Hey, you need to talk to Kelly." I mean, we're talking a month and a half ago. They started calling, and I'm like, wow, "This Kelly is a big deal. I can't wait to talk to her." And it's just more, and it's more than just the regular people. I mean, I have friends of friends who have called me who I haven't talked to in a few months, who are calling me up and say, "Hey, Yeah, Kelly from Manassas is coming. So tell me, what high school did you go to? Lay it out for me. Where'd you go to school? When did you start to sing opera? How did you get into all this?
Oh gosh. Well, yeah, so I went to now Unity Reed High School. Back then it was called Stonewall. Back then I make it sound like I'm, 100 years old, but
We're not that old.
yeah, but I went to the now Unity Reed High School. I got my start in opera actually. So when I was around like 13, 14 years old, I started out in actually regular, just straight theater, no musicals. I studied Shakespeare, I studied Greek theater, just straight plays. And then I went into musical theater. I worked with Pied Piper Theater. I worked with Grey Ghost for a while. They were doing it was a really cool like mixture of sort of reenactment and also performance, which was a really cool experience. Dominion Stage, which was out in like Reston, and so I've worked with a lot of companies in the area. But yeah, I started out in this musical theater arena, and my voice teacher from when I was young, he handed me this Italian art song, and he said, "Here you go." And I was like, "Oh, it's Italian. Like I don't." I don't want to sing in Italian. Like, what am I doing? And he said, well, do it anyways. And I said, nah, fine. And then I ended up really liking it. And I did the Bland competition, which is run by the Lions Club, which is obviously a fantastic organization. So I did the Bland competition and I got second place when I was like 13 years old. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I lost to a very dear friend of mine, Thomas Florio, who's also a Manassas native, and he's now in Germany singing and doing amazing things. But I then decided, I went, well, I kind of like this. So I auditioned for the Washington National Opera Institute for Young Singers. I was actually too young to audition, and they were like, no, you can't audition. And I said, yeah, but like, can I though? And they were like, no. And I said, but like, I mean, just for the experience. And they said, no. And we went back and forth, and they finally said, fine, whatever, you can audition. They said, you're not getting in, just so you know. And then I got in.
Yeah.
So
That's fantastic. And you mentioned that you sang with a friend who's now in Germany. You live in London,
yeah.
and with all your traveling, what can you say about this area in Northern Virginia, where we are, and how hospitable it might be to theater, about what it might how it was as a training ground for you to come up and learn your craft and just be able to be exposed to all these different elements of theater and song. What does it say about where we live that gave you your start?
Well, I must say we live in a really fortunate place because we're so close to DC that we have access to some of the great performing art spaces, and some of the great artists that come through this area as well. But I think Prince William County especially has cultivated, and Northern Virginia as a whole has cultivated the arts in young people for many years, which is so valuable and so important, right? I mean, we can get into things like, music helps test scores and things like that. Like it's not just for music, but I think that there's been such a focus on arts education throughout, from kindergarten through senior year of high school. We have all county choir, we have district, band and all this stuff. I did all national choir. We had these opportunities. And I think that it's not only cultivated, but it's promoted, and they encourage the arts to be in this area, which is so vital. And since the opening of the Hilton Performing Arts Center as well, there's been so much community outreach. And that's something that I'm also very passionate about in general, is coming back to the area and giving back. And I know, I've been talking with the Arts Council in locally, and I think it's just so important to do that work. But yeah, we have so many opportunities in this area, and that cultivation from childhood is just, I spoke to Susan Domer the other day, and I was shocked. I didn't even know this, that there are 64 elementary schools in Prince William County, and they all have fifth grade strings programs, which was incredible. She said, yeah, some of the schools have 70, 80 instruments in this, and this is just elementary school, and it just made my heart so full. When I was 16, my choir teacher, Wandalyn Bowley, shout out to that wild woman. I love her. She, bless her, she comes to all my shows too. I adore her. She's the best. But she was the one, she got this little poster in the mail from, from this company. And it was Opera Festival di Roma. It was through James Madison University. And they were like, if anybody wants to audition, and it was supposed to only be for college students. And somehow she got this and she was like, go audition. She said, the worst they can say is no. The worst that happens is you don't get it. And I went, so from 16 years old, I just went, what's the worst that anybody can say is no. So
Yeah.
I auditioned and I got it. And I performed my first opera in Italy when I was 16 years old. So I was the prima novizia in Suor Angelica in this insanely stunning church in Rome. So it was, much thanks to Wandalyn Bowley for going, just do it. Like, so that's sort of what kickstarted
All
that.
of that from someone who didn't want to sing Italian. That is pretty great. Now, one of the people who called me and said, "Hey, Kelly's coming," said that you'll be doing something with Prince William County Schools, and you talked about giving back. So, can you tell us a little bit about what you'll be doing with the school division?
Yeah, we're really excited. We're still getting all the details worked out, but the idea is I'll be going to all 14 schools in Prince William County and also the Manassas City, Manassas Park, the two high schools there. And I will be giving a little mini performance and then like Q&As, like sort of like master class type thing. So the plan is I will go into each of the high schools and the teachers and I are working out, whether it will be all of the choir students, whether it be choir and drama or whatever the needs of the school is, because I'm trained in both opera and musical theater professionally. But another thing that we're offering as well is I'm a certified actor combatant as well. I was certified with the Society of American Fight Directors, so I have extensive training in combat, which is a valuable skill for both opera and musical theater. And there's intimacy coordination, things like that. So part of the things I'm offering is also basic, like unarmed stage combat, so that, if there's a slap on stage or a hair pull or something like that, right, that we know how to do that safely. So that's something I'm also offering, and I also teach. I was an electrician for many years backstage as well, so we may do some little lighting classes or something like that. But it's part of just the like you said, giving back. And I've been teaching for over 20 years as well. I know I couldn't possibly have been teaching that long, but it's something that I'm very passionate about, and giving back and paying it forward as well. In any way that I can. So yeah, that's sort of the plan.
That is quite the impressive resume, and now I'm waiting to see yeah, and I also moonlighted as a airline pilot, and I did I mean, it was just like it's amazing to hear that. So that's great, and we'll be paying attention. We'll be talking about that when you have more details, and we'd love to share that story with our audience at Potomac Local. So the show is coming up. The show is going to run August 20th through October 26th. So that it's coming very fast at Riverside Center for the Performing Arts. Tell us how we can get tickets and what you're looking forward to and what we should be looking forward to.
Well, just to say out loud to everybody, I'm contracted through October. I leave October 6th. So if you want to see me, you have to get your tickets beforehand. But I will say my alternate is one of the most beautiful performers that I've had the pleasure to work with. She's really fabulous. So if you don't get a chance to see me, that's okay. She's incredible, and the cast is amazing. She's playing Sister Margareta while I'm doing Mother Abbess, and then they're bumping her up. So do make sure, or see it twice. See me and then see my beautiful, wonderful alternate, who we love dearly. So the best way to get tickets is to go to the website, and I know tickets are selling quickly. And the other really special thing, really cool thing about Riverside is they offer like dinner and a show. But you can actually buy a full course dinner before the show and really make it a night out as well. So definitely encourage you to have the entire experience of Sound of Music and of the Riverside Center for the Performing Arts. It's a really cool thing. So I definitely recommend it. But yeah, go to the website and book those tickets now, because from what I understand, we are selling out. We are selling.
Good, good, good. And so the website is riversidedt.com, and get in there, get your tickets before October 6th if you want to see hometown girl Kelly Glyptis, who came on the Potomac Local podcast today. Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun, and we certainly love to have you back in town. It's always good to see you.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.